Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Greetings to you. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Today, we are going to cover something that we inevitably will always find ourselves in, and that is conflict. No matter the age, no matter the situation or environment, there will always be a level of conflict in your life. And so, we're going to discuss the 5 different conflict styles and what those look like and how to identify them and apply them. So let's go ahead and get started. On your screen, you see 5 different conflict styles. That is competing, collaborating, compromising, as well as avoiding and accommodating. The different conflict styles are on a graph, if you will, from uncooperative to cooperative, which means the satisfaction of others, to being unassertive to being assertive, which means attempting to satisfy your own concerns. So, as you can see, the lower end of it, bottom left, which is very unassertive and very uncooperative, is avoiding. And then someone that is highly assertive and highly cooperative is at collaborating. We're going to get into this more and dive more into it, but let's go over some definitions and define what each conflict style is. 5 conflict management styles are on your screen, and this handout is available in Schoology as well as the class website. Okay? With that, we're going to discuss them very briefly, but again, you can refer to the handout to read it in its entirety. So, accommodating, as stating, is when you cooperate with the person you have conflict with to a very high degree, which can be where you forget about yourself and it's all about the other person in the conflict. Um, it can be effective for preserving future relations with the other party that you may have the conflict with. But this is where you are thinking about someone more than yourselves. Okay. Number 2, avoiding. This is when you simply do not want to deal with the conflict. You don't get your goals accomplished, nor does the other party get their goals accomplished. There's no assertiveness and there's no cooperation. Um, People that use avoidance as a conflict solution style, sometimes their issues will they think issues will resolve themselves and hope that they will. uh, Avoiding is definitely not a good long-term strategy, as you do and will have conflicts and you need to deal with them as they come. Collaborating. This is when you and the other party gets both of your goals accomplished. So maybe you wanted to go bowling and the other party wanted to go skating. And so you all collaborate to figure out how to get both goals, in this instance, bowling and skating, and everybody wins. So collaboration is a win-win situation. Okay. The downside of this is that it can require a high degree of trust and reaching a consensus that may require a lot of time and effort to get everybody on board so that everybody can get what they want out of it, or the other party or parties, and be successful. The next one is competing. Competing is where, just as it sounds, you compete. You act very assertively for something you want and to achieve the goal, and don't care about what the other party wants. Really, it does cost at the expense of the other party. It may be appropriate to use competing when there's an emergency or urgency of a situation and need to make a quick, decisive action, and people are aware of support in the approach. But competing is just like the goal is to win. Okay. Somebody has to win, somebody has to lose. And then compromise is a lose-lose situation because no one in the situation really gets what they want. Someone has to lose out, each party, loses out on something. You might get a little something, but you lose a little something. And so this is where it's like the sweet middle. There's a moderate level of assertiveness and a moderate level of cooperation. The trap is to fall into compromising as an easy way out when collaborating will produce a better solution, okay? So compromising is not necessarily bad, right? It might be best overall. So by knowing your own default patterns, you improve your self-awareness. You know how you approach situations in conflict. And so again, here is the conflict mode instrument by Thomas Kilmann. When you have low assertiveness, meaning thinking of yourself, assertiveness refers to yourself, cooperation refers to others. And so when you have low assertiveness, low cooperation, so you really don't think about yourself, you're not thinking about others, you avoid typically because you don't want to deal with it. When you are thinking about just yourself and not think about anyone else, you're in competition zone. When you are low in thinking about yourself, but highly think about others, you're accommodating. You're accommodating. When you're high on both sides, thinking of yourself and others, you collaborate. That's the win-win situation. And then when it's just in the middle, it's compromise. And so on this handout, you will find different strengths and advantages, as well as weaknesses and disadvantages for each style. So I do implore that you go back to this handout and learn more about those. Now, if you have any questions at this point, I do recommend that you put them in the chat, raise your hand so that you can get further clarification. Next, we are actually going to watch a scene from a different world, in which is a conflict scene, and identify what conflict style is happening.